Hello everyone, welcome. I'm excited to show you all what I have purchased so far from the Sephora Spring Savings Event 2025. Okay, I know I just said what I've purchased so far, but I do believe, at least I'm going to try my best, to not purchase any more from the event. This year I decided I really wanted to be a lot more mindful about my purchases than I have been in previous years. I'll let you in on a little secret. A lot of beauty content creators do go overboard during this event because haul videos tend to do very well. And from what I've observed in the past, the larger the haul, the more views the video gets. Titles like Massive Sephora Sale Haul or My Biggest Haul Ever, those videos do get a lot of attention. Hence why I myself have done those super huge haul videos in the past. So when I say I'm trying to be more mindful, not only am I trying to be more mindful of my own spending, but also I'm looking out for my viewers. Times are difficult for a lot of people. Things are getting very expensive. And even if you have the budget for high-end or luxury makeup, you also might be taking a more thoughtful approach, really thinking about what you need versus what you want. I think it's worth giving the reminder that if you are not a beauty content creator or a makeup artist, you do not need every single thing on your wish list. You don't need every single thing I had in my recommendations video or another YouTuber had in their recommendations video. And there's also a really good chance that you don't need anything I'm going to talk about in today's video. Of course, I'll still have the links for you because I know some people watching not only are just interested to see what I decided to buy, but also you may be in the market for a new foundation, or you may be in the market for a new lip liner, or you might simply be wanting to treat yourself to something. So the point of me addressing all of this at the beginning of this video is just to serve as a reminder to you that I am doing this video because number one, it's my job, and number two, because I simply love talking about makeup with you all and sharing my excitement for the things that I bought. Only one item was a repurchase, and that is this Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Heat Styling Spray. I did talk about this product in my recommendations video that was posted last week. It has been my go-to heat protectant for several years now. I like that it has a very fine mist. I find it to be extremely effective because I do heat style quite often, and I do have somewhat coarse hair, especially the grays that come in. So I do have a tendency to use high heat in order to smooth out my hair, much to the dismay of my hairstylist, who is always telling me and everyone to turn the heat down on your hair appliances. Now let's talk about the new stuff I got. I did purchase all of this over the weekend. Today is Monday, so I have had the opportunity to try some of the items I picked up, but not all. So if it's a product I have tried already, I will give you my first impressions. So let's start off with the Prada foundation. Obviously, I took it out of the box already. I used it this morning for the very first time, and so far I am very, very happy with it. This is called Reveal Skin Optimizing Foundation. It contains a broad spectrum SPF 17, and I chose the shade LW15. This is a refillable foundation that retails for $70, and that alone is the main reason why I have put off trying this for so long. And I also wanted to be able to swatch the shades in store versus ordering online, because that doesn't always go so well for me, as a lot of you know if you watch my videos regularly. So I was lucky enough to be at a store over the weekend that did have a Prada display, and I was able to swatch all the shades. And I have to say I chose very well, because this NW15 is one of the best matches to my natural skin that I have ever had. And I say it that way because if you're new here, you wouldn't know this, but my regulars know that I like to self-tan. So I will often purchase a foundation that's a little bit darker than my skin tone and then blend it down my neck and chest. So I did stand there for a few moments, kind of deliberating if I should purchase the LW15 or if I should get one darker and just use it in the evening. Obviously, I ultimately decided to go with the one that matched my natural skin tone. And it does say here that it is a warm tone, but I honestly think it is one of the best neutral shades I have ever swatched in Sephora. It's not yellow, it's not pink, it's not peach. To me, it is a straight up neutral beige. It does have a soft matte finish. It's not a flat matte though. And I just really liked how easily it blended onto my skin. I used a Makeup by Mario F4 brush to apply it this morning. And yeah, I was really impressed with how it blended. There was no patchiness. It didn't emphasize my pores. It kind of felt like I was just brushing on a filter. Like my skin was getting very beautifully blurred. And to me, it feels really, really lightweight. It has medium buildable coverage. It contains vitamin E, niacinamide. It is transfer resistant. And it says here it's supposed to enhance skin's natural radiance and hydration and visibly refine skin texture. So that kind of goes along with what I said moments ago, that I really did feel like this foundation just blurred everything. The only downside for me as someone with very oily skin is I am going to need to apply an oil controlling primer underneath this, because while I don't look exceptionally oily, and by the way, I've had this foundation on now for about 5 hours, I still have more of a glow than I typically do, than I typically like. Of course, I can powder my skin very easily and get rid of that shine, or I can keep it because you all tell me all the time that what I see as oil, many of you see as glow and actually like the way it looks. But I am looking forward to trying it again tomorrow to see if using an oil controlling primer will help with this. Because overall, I am loving everything about this foundation. Also really liking this Sarah Creole concealer. I have been intrigued by the brand Sarah Creole ever since it launched. Sarah is I think a former makeup artist. I should look this up before I spread misinformation. Oh, maybe she wasn't a makeup artist. It just says a beauty industry veteran who wanted to create a luxury skincare and makeup brand specifically designed for women over 40. She was a product developer and brand builder for major companies like Bobbi Brown and Estee Lauder. She co-founded Victoria Beckham Beauty in 2018 and served as its CEO until 2022. And after noticing that the beauty products she loved and helped create no longer worked as well for her as she aged, especially in her 40s, she decided to create her own beauty brand. Face Flex Concealer and Complexion Enhancer with Caffeine. It comes in 10 shades and retails for $58. It is a medium coverage, visibly brightening concealer or foundation that corrects dark circles and maintains a creaseless finish for 12 plus hours. I purchased shade 3.0 Light Neutral. So here are my first impressions of the concealer. I really like the consistency. I like the applicator. I like the packaging. It does feel very creamy and hydrating when you apply it. A little bit does go a long way, but I feel like I need a little bit more coverage. For my under eyes at least. I don't typically use concealers on my face, even when it's one that's specifically made for the eyes or face. I tend to just use concealers underneath my eyes. And as I was saying, I do like almost everything about this. I just wish it had a little bit more coverage. I think what I'm going to do tomorrow, in addition to trying a primer underneath the Prada foundation, is I am going to try a brightener. Now, why does that look so much better? It does, doesn't it? It just looks so much more brightened. Maybe it's because I put some powder under my eye to set it and maybe it darkened it? Interesting. Obviously, I need to play around with this a little bit more. Did I even finish my thought? Which was that I'm going to try a color corrector underneath this tomorrow and see what happens. So the verdict is still out on this. I'm not highly recommending it, but I'm also not going to discourage you from trying it. If you've been as intrigued as I have to use a concealer that was formulated for our age demographic specifically. Also from Sarah Creel, I picked up this, which is I love the name of this. It's called the Adults Are Talking Solid Serum Lip Repair. I picked up the shade Energetic. When I was at Sephora, I swatched this shade and it looked pretty pigmented for a sheer balm, a sheer lip repair product. But when I went to go swatch it for this video, it didn't have nearly as much pigment. I am aware that some people don't want much color with their lip balms or lip repair products. You do just want a slight tint. But I don't know, I was kind of hoping that I was going to get the same color payoff that I saw from the tester, and that's just not the case. The color's still pretty. It's very shiny. It's just not quite what I was expecting. So anyway, this is another product that I'm going to have to update you on, but let me tell you a little bit about it and why I did ultimately decide to put it in my basket and purchase, besides just the color. This product comes in 5 shades and retails for $42. It is a dewy lip balm treatment that transforms dry lips to their smoothest, most plump state. It claims to be hydrating, long-wearing, and plumping. It contains peptides to plump, smooth, and stimulate collagen production, and also lactic acid, which allows peptides to work more efficiently. It's enriched with antioxidants and fatty acids to moisturize lips. So we'll see if it's any better than my VIB Beauty lip treatment that I love. I purchased the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil Extreme in the shade Anywhere Caffeine. If you watched my recommendations video, I did talk about the shade Anywhere Caffeine and Wherever Walnut being my favorites in the original Artist Color Pencil formula. Those are a traditional wood pencil, but you can use them on your eyes, your cheeks, and your lips. The Extreme formula is far more creamy and long-wearing. It's actually waterproof, although I haven't tested that out just yet. If you asked me right now which one I prefer, I would say the Extreme. I used this for the very first time the day I got it, and I not only love, love, love this shade, I adore how creamy it is, how easily it went on, how easily I could fill in my entire lip with this pencil, and the longevity that this provides. It is so, so good. So what I did today is I lined and then I lightly filled in my lips. Again, this is Anywhere Caffeine. And then I topped it with this YSL Plumping Lip Oil. YSL makes some of my favorite lip products of all time. And I stalked both the YSL Beauty website and Sephora, basically everywhere that carries YSL. I wanted to try these so badly. I think it's been like a month or even 6 weeks since I first heard about these coming out. And I would see some other influencers get a PR package with several of the shades or all of the shades, and I just could not wait to try one. There were actually 3 shades that I wanted to get, but that's where that whole being mindful thing came into play. And choosing the first one to buy was not easy. Ultimately, I went with shade 44, which I think is called Nude Lavalier. And it's everything I expected. It's very similar to a lot of other lip oils. Is it something extraordinary that I don't have in any other lip oil that I own, any other brand's formula? Not really, but I do love this color, and I don't have this particular shade in any other lip oil. And it actually has some pigmentation to it, which is what I like. Once in a while, I do like a sheer gloss, but for this type of look where I just want to line and fill in with a pencil and then add some shine and some color, the amount of pigment in this shade is actually perfect. If you do not like a tingling sensation on your lips, you're not going to like this. Everybody's degree of sensitivity to products like this is going to be different. For me, on a scale of say 1 to 5, with 5 being Too Faced Lip Injection Plumper Extreme, that stuff burns my lips. I can hardly tolerate wearing it at all. I would say this is like a 3, but again, that's just my opinion. Your tolerance to the tingling may be at a much different threshold than mine. And then I also got the Super Boost Gloss from Makeup Forever. This is another moisturizing plumping effect lip gloss. I purchased this one in the shade Juicy Peach, and I actually haven't tried this on my lips yet. And you know how I said at the very beginning of this video that if you're not a beauty YouTuber or a makeup artist. You don't need a lot of these things that I and other content creators are showing you. Well, lip glosses are definitely one of those categories where I buy a lot more than I might need or any normal person might need because I like to have them to compare. So I'm able to answer if someone asks me how much plumping do they really do? How much do they really tingle? Maybe in comparison to another product. So that is why brands send influencers like myself PR packages. And if I don't get the product in a PR package, I end up going to purchase it because I have to be able to compare and answer questions for my viewers. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay, in my recommendations video, I talked about my love for the Patrick Ta eyebrow pencil. I said that it was one of the best fine point pencils I have ever purchased, that I have repurchased it a few times. The blonde color is amazing. It's not too ashy. It's not too golden. It's perfect. But I wanted to try something new. I still might replenish my Patrick Ta, but the reviews for this Bobbi Brown pencil were so good and it came in so many shades. I just thought, why not? Let's give it a try. Again, for scientific, aka YouTuber purposes. I did go back and forth for a little bit trying to decide what shade to buy. I ended up with the warm blonde. The description was kind of funny. It said a warm ash blonde, which in my view is a little contradictory because in my book and in most color theory classes, you would learn that ash means cool or on the cooler end of the spectrum, whereas warm tends to correlate to something more golden. Now, after having used this pencil a couple of times, I do see a little bit of both. I do see a little bit of warmth, a little bit of ash. So in my book, it is a neutral blonde. It is a light, medium neutral blonde. And I do really like it. And I like the fact that it is waterproof. I have not yet personally verified the waterproof claim, but I intend to. Now this one is, I think, a lot pricier than the Patrick Ta, if I'm not mistaken. Bobbi Brown Ultra Slim Eyebrow Pencil, $25. So no, it's actually, oh my gosh, is it less than the Patrick Ta? Why did I think it was more? The Patrick Ta is actually more. Anyway, so far so good on the brow pencil. And then I did mention, again, in my recommendations video that I was going to go look at the Gucci bronzer in the shade 2. I already have 3. I love 3. Somebody told me to try number 2, but I completely forgot. When I was in the store, I completely forgot. I saw the Armani beauty display and I beelined towards it because I had also heard incredible things about their bronzing powder. And look how big this compact is. Everyone who recommended this to me was correct. It is one of the most buttery, blendable bronzers. Yes, I still love the Gucci, and I'm kicking myself for not actually putting the two side by side and comparing them when I was at Sephora. But I've got to tell you, I was at the Sephora in South Coast Plaza, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's in Orange County, California. I was in town. I was in Orange County for a family party, and the mall was right across the street from where I was staying. So I went in there, and it was like, not exactly like the Sephora in Times Square, New York City, but it was very, very close. The Sephora is huge, and it was packed. So my anxiety started kicking in a little bit, and I felt a little bit rushed because my husband was waiting for me, and I digress. Back to the bronzer. It's gorgeous. I'm loving it. And bronzers are a lot like brow pencils for me. If the shade is just slightly off, I don't love it. So it's not even necessarily that the formula isn't amazing. It could be, but if the color is not right, it can throw everything off, and it just makes it so I'm not going to love it as much as I would if the shade were spot on. And this shade is spot on for me. I have tried the YSL bronzer that a lot of people were raving about months ago. I picked it up during, I think, way back in November during the like Black Friday sale they had on the YSL website. And I liked it, but I didn't love it. This I love. So I'm loving the Gucci. I'm loving this one. Someone recently asked me about the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. And I remember, I have it. I have shades 1, 2, and 3. I think I got them in a PR package a couple of years ago when they launched. And I do like them. They're very good. But if I remember correctly, they are a little patchy, or I found them to be patchier than I find some other bronzers. And this one is not patchy at all. I did ask you all recently if you wanted a dedicated bronzer video, and that is something that I will try to do as soon as possible. And when I say a dedicated bronzer video, I mean exactly what I'm talking about now, kind of comparing each and seeing which one has the best color range, which one has the most longevity, the best formula, all that good stuff. So I am going off on a tangent, way too much talking about this one bronzer. All that's left to say is that if you've been on the fence about getting this bronzer, you're in the market for a good bronzer, this one would be an excellent choice. And lastly, no, not lastly, because I am going to tell you about the two things I ordered that have not arrived yet. They are out for delivery today, and I was hoping that they would show up by now, but they have not. Let me check my messages. It has. It says your order has arrived. I'm going to go down and get it. Okay, here it is. Not super exciting. There's only two things in here. Ow. Okay. This is the Kerastase Gloss Absolute Glaze Drops. I got this because it was new, and anything that says anti-frizz and Kerastase, I feel like I have to try. I'm not really joking when I say one of the reasons why I wanted to move to Las Vegas is for the low humidity, because my hair is so reactionary to just the slightest moisture in the air. So even with the bone dry climate we have in Las Vegas, I still get frizz once in a while, and I do travel to a lot of destinations that have high humidity. So I'm looking forward to trying this, and look how pretty this bottle is. Ooh, that smells good. Oh wow, I wish I had this in like a perfume. But don't let what I just said scare you. I do have to get my nose pretty close up to it to smell it. It's not like as soon as I opened it up, I just got all this fragrance. But yeah, I'm excited to try this. And then I also purchased the Totally Juicy Lip Tint from Sephora collection. The Sephora collection, by the way, throughout the Sephora Savings event is 30% off. So all Sephora collection products, no matter what tier you are, Rouge, VIB, Insider, you can receive 30% off all Sephora collection products. And I did post a YouTube short the other day with 3 of my top Sephora collection recommendations. I love a good lip tint, especially in the summertime. And this is the shade, I don't know, I can't see, but I'll put the name on the screen. Just like a reddish berry. It looks very similar to, say, Benefit's Benetint. It comes in 9 shades. It retails for $14. It says here that it is a high shine lip stain that offers 12 hours of juicy hydration and long-lasting tinted lips. It does have really good reviews so far. This one says, bought this impulsively during a sale and I really like it. Pretty color and lasted a solid 8 hours or so without touch-ups, in decent condition. Oh, this is a good one. This Totally Juicy Lip Tint is to die for. I got the shade 02 Rose Syrup and I am just in awe. They did everything right with this product and I am truly shook. Oh, another product that I will update you on. And now we can get to that last product of my haul, which is this NARS face palette. It is called Hot Escape Cheek Palette 2. There are 3 versions of this face and cheek palette that does come with a mirror. It retails for $49 and I am loving this. As you can see, there is a blush, a bronzer, and then 2 highlights, or a cheek topper and a highlighter. I have to say, I do think that NARS makes some of the best combo palettes, face palettes. I've never been one to purchase palettes that have a cream product in them, like a lip product mixed in with the face colors or the eyeshadows. I don't know, I just like to keep lip products separate. But face palettes, I'm all for, because I can use this Laguna shade as my bronzer or as an eyeshadow. I did use it today just sort of as a like a transition shade and to buff out any harsh edges. This is the blush I'm wearing. It is a beautiful hot pink. And then these 2 highlight shades are absolutely stunning. This one, the shade right here, I don't know if you can see, but it looks like it's been punctured a few times. That's because it was, with a tiny little pencil brush to add a highlight to my tear ducts. And then I also have it on the top of my cheekbones. I'm getting oilier and oilier as we speak. Gosh, That is going to be such a bummer if this foundation doesn't work for me, because color match is so good and the formula is so nice. It looked so beautiful when it was first applied. So yeah, that is my Sephora Spring Savings Event 2025 haul. Not a huge haul, not an epic haul. One might even say pretty darn small for a beauty YouTuber's haul, but I'm content with what I got. I'm happy that I didn't go overboard. I'm trying a lot of things that have been on my wish list for a while. All of the products will be listed and linked in the description box, as well as tagged through YouTube Shopping. The code for the sale discount is Save More. And I think you probably know already the dates and the discount amounts and the fact that you do have to be signed up for the Beauty Insider program to even get the 10% off. But don't forget that all tiers receive 30% off Sephora collection products. Not products that are part of Sephora's collection, but Sephora collection products. That actually does confuse some people. Anyway, I guess it's time to close this one out. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, I hope that you'll consider doing so. I do upload new videos at least twice per week. You can also find more content from me over on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. My username is the same on every platform. It's Risa Does Makeup.